Here we go.
Marker. Welcome to Mergy Movies. I'm Big Mike.
I'm Justin Ferguson.
And here we are once again, bringing you some film and movie-related spiel here. So,
Spieling it.
And since we actually know what our conclusion will be, instead of the end sentence thingy, although I kind of prefer that now, we are now going to talk today about practical effects versus CGI. As you can see in front of us here. Obviously in the new Marvel movies and stuff, they do use practical, but a lot of it is CGI.
Yes.
The prequels for Star Wars were basically entirely
it was
CGI.
basically put a few people in front of a green screen. It was like 5 actors, and then the rest was all green screen.
Exactly, and that's one thing Liam Neeson had a problem with. He said he didn't want to really come back for another one because he just didn't like working with that, which it's understandable, I guess, but. It could also be that he's like, Jar Jar is a piece of shit.
Yeah, well, he was the one who had to talk to Jar Jar the most.
Yeah, well, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, really. This friggin' the guy playing Jar Jar had that thing on his head. Oh man, that must have been hell to look at for the whole time. But so, I guess which is better?
Which is better? That's a good question because, well, for starters, it really does depend on the movie. Sometimes a CG-heavy movie can be pretty... A movie like Avatar.
Right.
Is a very CG-heavy movie.
That's for sure.
And it works fairly well for it.
Yeah, also, friggin' made a huge bank as well. With 3 more on the way?
I know.
Anyway.
If he ever gets to it.
Yeah, really. Keeps getting delayed.
My big thing is, I think Quentin Tarantino has a great attitude about it.
Right.
His attitude is CG should only be used for things that cannot be done practically.
Right, like for example, the Hulk would be very... you can do the Hulk practically.
Yeah.
But, hey, for this, what was it, the 80s, 70s TV show, that's not bad. Yeah. Really, that's not bad. But to be honest, if you wanted to do even close to what the Hulk is, CGI is the preferred form.
Yes.
That. Right.
Especially considering the size he's supposed to grow
Exactly, yeah.
No human is that big.
Exactly. Although
Lou Ferrigno is close.
Yeah, he's pretty close. Although, if you say, okay, I know we did this in our last episode. If you had to, say for example, they're like, screw it, we want to do everything practical. Yeah. We're just going to do Lord of the Rings type stuff where we're going to have people farther away, closer and all this. Who would you pick practically to be the Hulk?
It would have to be some bodybuilder.
If he wasn't used already in the Marvel Universe, Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
He's pretty buff, man.
Or, I know he's kind of a big name, but The Rock. Have you seen him lately?
You could do, he's pretty jacked, man. Although, he's jacked, but he's not he's jacked, but he doesn't seem as bulky as, he did in the past. He actually looks like he's jacked. Did he use steroids in the past, maybe?
The Rock?
Wrestling? Yeah, he did.
He has admitted to using them.
So yeah, maybe is that the difference? Maybe the use of steroids it produces different kinds of muscle mass because his looked more balloony in the past, and now he's jacked. So
2 guys they had this whole for SummerSlam a few years ago.
Right.
They had this one match. They had this. Because the one guy shaved himself to look like... CM Punk shaved himself to look like Wolverine. He had his hair and his beard styled like Wolverine.
Right.
So, he had a big match with Brock Lesnar.
Okay, well, fuck.
Brock
Lesnar is actually not a good candidate for that, too. But anyway, yeah.
Brock Lesnar is the type of guy I would say could pull that off.
Oh, yeah.
He's big enough. He doesn't need to speak. He just... Ah!
Exactly. On the opposite side of that spectrum, it's funny when, say for a role like that, yeah, you don't really need to speak, you just need to be raw and say Hulk smash once in a while, maybe.
Yeah.
But, the other way around where, Vin Diesel, okay, I joke around with him being a terrible actor or whatever, okay, fine. But he always says, I love coming in and I love working with Marvel and stuff. His lines are, I am Groot.
Hey, but he dumped himself into that shit. Because he was like, he went and literally had them write out the script. Like, and was like what he was supposed to be saying.
Right.
Versus I am Groot. So he, like, trying to infer that with each different way he was saying
I have to
Groot.
give him props for that, I guess.
And he learned how to say I am Groot. Like, his, I actually didn't know this. For all the dubs.
Right. Oh.
For all of the different dubs, like it's a Spanish and Japanese and German and all this.
Right.
He learned how to say "I am Groot" in German, Spanish, Japanese.
So he actually did all the dubbing.
He did all the dubs.
That's hilarious. Yeah. I guess if you could do it, it's like it's only one line. You don't have to do a whole movie. It's not going to take like hours of your day. It's going to take one day.
And then he would come in and redo every scene with the script. Again, the different inflictions for each. So he threw himself into it.
Okay, all right. I'll have to give him props for that. That's pretty cool.
He threw himself into it. And, truth be told, if you look at him voice acting wise,
right,
he's actually not a bad voice actor.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, the Iron Giant, and that's what it's called, right?
Yeah.
Giant, yeah. And what else has he done?
He did Groot.
He's done something else, hasn't he?
Yeah, he did something else.
He's done something else, but I can't remember. We'll put it on the screen if we can remember.
Yeah, and I'll say nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like when I edit this after. It's like, it either shows how stupid we are, or it's like, hey, we're actually right.
Yeah,
it's just really funny. I learned something. But yeah, like I like that with the going back to the practical and whatever effects is. Yeah, you could, like you say, you need to be able to do it. If you can do it, then practically, then do it. But if it's something that's like totally made up, not possible to do without CGI, then
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like one prime example of that is like, say you've seen Kill Bill.
Yeah.
The whole sequence where she is using the spike ball that little Chinese girl's using, the ball itself is CG.
Oh, okay, yeah, well, because they're probably kills. Literally, if that was the case.
Everything else in that movie is real.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Or Grindhouse, where he smashes the cars and things like that, with Kurt Russell, that was practical.
Right. Yeah. Like I remember seeing. I'm typing this into the look on here that are not like things that are supposedly not CGI, because I did see a post like that on Facebook a while ago. 8 reasons modern movie CGI looks surprisingly crappy. 8 movies fixing won't believe aren't CGI. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
So again, our folks at Crack.com, I am a huge advocate for them because they show a lot of cool shit, and that's what I'm doing right now. Like there's I guess we'll just do this countdown. We'll talk about like maybe we'll talk about would it be better CGI or not. We'll talk about this because this is stuff that is not CGI.
This is done practically.
Exactly. So first of all you got the Dark Knight,
the car chase scene with the semi and everything.
Exactly. Okay, we always come back to the Dark Knight. I think even in our first episode of Mergy Movies we did ever, I think we discussed the Dark Knight in there somewhere.
Because we were all pissed off that we didn't pick the Dark.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we had a movie night at our house for you if you're just catching up. We had a movie night at like my house, I should say, not our house. We weren't living together yet at all. But anyway, so me and Candace, my wife, would have a movie night. We would vote every month, and it was like the best. That's what it was. The first episode. Yeah, it was the best of the previous year / season, right? So we had like movies like Kung Fu Panda, The Dark Knight.
And a few other movies.
The Dark Knight, and then a few other movies, right? Yeah, we won't even get into that. You can obviously know which one was picked. Kung Fu Panda was picked. Not a bad movie. I like it. But we fucking loved The Dark Knight. We were like pissed ever since.
And we found a way to drop The Dark Knight in every episode that's happening.
It's like, just like The Dark Knight. Just like Dark Knight. It seems like that's what's happening. Although, did we refer to The Dark Knight in our last episode?
I don't remember.
I'll have to go back and check that out. But anyway, so anyway, it says, the chase that destroyed the Batmobile, Joker themed semi, a dump truck, paddy wagon, and multiple cop cars. So that was all practical.
Yeah, they did that all with real stuff.
So yeah, and the whole thing with the truck stopping suddenly like that, boom, like right into the ground, that was real.
That was real. The semi-flip was real too.
Yes, exactly. So that, which is freaking crazy. That looked great. You don't really need CGI for that.
No, but you
lot
think
of money.
some directors would want to switch to CGI to do that?
Right, well, yeah, Michael Bay does that kind of stuff, doesn't he?
All the time. But Christopher Nolan, I think you also have to think about, like, he's probably like, all right, if we could do it real,
yeah,
how would we do it? And he probably had a whole team of engineers come in and figure out how to do it.
Yeah. No, like it says right here, what you're actually seeing is a complete 1/3 scale model of the Batmobile, the garbage truck, and a large section, and that's what made it suddenly stop. So it's actually a smaller version.
Yeah, they used models for some of the scenes underground.
Yeah.
Less RC cars and models, and then they would like use camera tricks to make them look bigger.
Exactly. So yeah, like I say, you can get away with it, and it doesn't cost you like if your CGI cost is way lower than like something like this or whatever. I mean, you could take the jump to CGI, but it is more impressive and a lot more painstaking. That's for sure. So
one movie I would say that totally used CGI well and knew how to manage its budget was Deadpool.
Right. Because they had no choice, really.
They had a really small budget, but they did have a lot of CGI in that movie.
That's right, yeah.
I guess part of that being the director owns his own CG company.
Oh, that helps. Budget-wise, that really helps. So, yeah.
But, I mean, Alright. We're going to get deeper into this, but my big thing I'm going to say is, I stand with Quentin Tarantino's thing. If you can do it practically, I think ultimately it looks better when it's actually a physical thing there.
Fair enough. And it's actually better for the actors.
Yeah, when they're going back to Star Wars. If you think like the big Anakin Obi-Wan fight at the end of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
The big sword. They're hanging off everything. When they were actually doing that, they were on like big green blocks, jumping around big green blocks.
Yeah.
Where if you had like a set for them to actually interact with,
that would be an amazing set, by the way, if it wasn't CGI. But anyway,
yeah, they actually built like a set. Like I'm sure they would throw the lava CG in, and
yeah, of course. Yeah.
But like the
fuck it, real lava.
Yeah, real lava. Duck, Ewan.
It's like, oh shit. It's too bad we didn't use clones like they did in the real movie because we need another Ewan. We don't have any. All right, well. I guess alternate ending. Obi-Wan dies. Anyway, yeah. So, and then you got like, I know there was CGI used, obviously, in like say Jurassic Park, like not the old one, not the new one, the old one.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you got to picture this. It's like a giant, freaking model of a T-Rex driving behind you in a car or whatever. That's fucking scary.
Like actually something to go like, oh my god.
Exactly. Like, I mean, that's why. Like, you've been to Universal Studios and stuff. So, like, I mean, have you been on Jurassic Park, there, right?
Yep.
So, like, I imagine that's fucking scary when you see a giant freaking lizard.
You know what's the one that scared me the most was Jaws.
Oh, I bet, eh?
Like you're riding in this little sort of fake dinghy thing. All of a sudden, the shark just comes out of the frickin' water at you, and it's like, ah! Frick.
Yeah, really, you wouldn't think it's like, oh, it's just shark, but yeah, I guess that would be scary. But yeah, well, that's another thing. Like Jaws, obviously, because there was no
CGI
really
there. Back then.
Jaws, pretty damn impressive, especially for the time period, you know, and everything.
And the cool thing is it also sometimes it forces people to get creative.
Yeah.
Bruce, the shark in Jaws.
Yeah.
He kept malfunctioning I remember reading this. He malfunctioned all the time. It was
Yeah.
a problem.
Well, you're gonna have problems with that, right? CGI does malfunction, but it's on a computer, so you're like, oh fuck, reboot. You know what I mean? Like,
but this thing kept. So Steven Spielberg was getting frustrated. He's like, how do I want to show the shark, but the head keeps malfunctioning and things like that.
Right.
I can't. So he came up with the idea.
Mm-hmm.
When you see a shark, 9 times out of 10, all you see is the top of the fin. So most of that movie, all you see is the fin.
Well, what you do with what you got, right?
Or like this opening sequence, the actual opening sequence of the film where that lady gets dragged down.
Yeah, which is still terrifying to this day. Yeah.
You never see the shark.
That's
you just
right.
see the fin.
That's right. And that actually, it makes it better because of the suspense, right? Because sure, you could show the shark the whole time, but that makes it more suspenseful, especially when like she's swimming and then she's all of a sudden it's like, oh, and then she gets pulled under the water, or she gets pulled halfway, but then she does that little terrifyingly gurgle thing.
Yeah.
And then it's like she's being dragged around. That scene, I'm not going to say I'm not a huge Jaws fan, but like, I mean, people go gaga over Jaws or whatever.
Yeah.
But I tell you, no matter what, that scene is terrifying. It's one of the most scariest moments in movie history.
Yeah, and then you compare that, and I'm not saying I like this other movie that had CG sharks in it. I'm not saying Sharknado.
Okay, good.
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea
had CG sharks in it, and when it jumped out and attacked people,
yeah.
it was very computer graphic, and it didn't scare you as much.
No, especially when, like, spoiler alert, Samuel L.
Yeah,
Jackson
the Sam Jackson scene where he gets attacked.
It's
like,
so late, but
we're gonna.
I enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed it, but it's just okay. We're gonna get rid of these motherfucking sharks. Yeah, what does he say?
So, we're gonna close this damn hole. We're gonna go, and all of a sudden this shark just comes bursting out of this tank, grabs him, and drags him underwater.
And grabs a CG Samuel as well. So it's like, it's super lame, but hey. It's funny. So, no, I enjoyed the film. And actually, there's a lot of people in that movie. Thomas Jane. And who else was in that?
LL Cool J.
LL Cool J shines in that movie for me. But anyway.
Stone Skarsgård.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that, too. Yeah, that's a great movie. Okay, sure, sir, you can find flaws in it, but anyway, great movie. But, the definite... so, if Steven Spielberg had like, CGI back then...
Yeah.
Maybe Jaws wouldn't be as scary.
Yeah. But it goes to the old Alfred Hitchcock thing. If you show less, their mind imagines more.
Yes, and that's the thing about, like, there's a lot of horror movies do the exact same thing. By the way, I gotta say it, watch that trailer for Don't Breathe again. I gotta watch it. Did you see it?
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing, is it?
Well, I haven't seen the movie, but I watched the trailer.
Oh, you haven't seen the movie? I watched the trailer again. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know why that came up again. I just gotta watch it. Anyway, horror movies are great for that. You don't need to show all the time gore, right? It's very suspenseful, and you don't need to show everything, and then all of a sudden when it happens, it's freaking freaky, man. One of the scariest movies again that doesn't use there's hardly any effects in it other than maybe a bit of blood is Halloween.
Yeah.
With Halloween coming up, it's frightening to that man in a mask coming at you, right? No effects there, nothing. He's secretive, he's quiet, same thing. But anyway, getting back to our practical versus CGI, that's what I think. I don't think Jaws would be as, like I say, as scary if it wasn't for that. So let's go next on this list. We have Independence Day, The Wall of Flames, which to me is amazing. How do they do that? So it says, fire rolling down between New York skyscrapers. So apparently, it's something oddly realistic about it, especially when compared with the most recent Roland Emmerich stuff like 2012. So the reason for that is, it says, this sort of thing isn't easy to do in real life. How do you make fire go sideways? So obviously, the buildings weren't real, or they were models, but the fire was real, I guess, which is cool. That's really a cool effect. So, definitely. Can you tell what you're looking at? A small city on its side, you probably recognize it better like this. So they basically filmed it on its side, and then blew flames through it. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I never knew that was real. That could be easily CGI'd.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. So that's very admirable. You don't need to.
No.
But very admirable.
Yeah. And it goes back to that thing we were talking about with Jackie Chan. Sometimes when you take those extra steps to go that little bit extra, it shows. Like, it can show. Like, and you see that scene, it's like, that was real, good scene. All of a sudden, no, that was real fire. That wasn't CG fire. That was real fire. That's kind of cool.
That is really cool. So anyway, the Lord of the Rings. Really good example of using effects that are for practicality instead of doing the CG thing where it's like, I'm going to put Ian McKellen in a different room, green screen, add him later. They just had them work like farther away from each other, and closer up to the camera and stuff. So very admirable, and that movie, for many reasons, is worth any nods and awards it got.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings is just fantastic for that kind of stuff. So it saved a lot of money, maybe? Or maybe because you have to build a lot of stilts and different stuff. Maybe it didn't save that much money. I don't know. So, but I guess what we're getting into is Terminator 2, digging into the Terminator's brain, that scene, when they're digging in. I guess it was what they did. I remember this. They said in here that it was, they had Arnold there, and then to unscrew his dome, basically they had a model, and then they used like a mirrors to kind of show, like, because it looks freaking realistic when they're digging in his brain and stuff. But it's basically from mirrors, like they showed him. Oh no, that's what it was. they pretended like it was in a mirror, but it was actually him looking out, and it was actually a dummy head you saw on the other side of the mirror. So like this, so picture this is the camera right here. Okay, this is the camera. You're a fake dummy head. Real you's over there.
So they put like a mirror in front of the fake dummy head.
No, what they did was Arnold's like looking at the camera, and the dummy head is
and
right
the
there.
reflection is behind him.
Yeah, so there really is no mirror. It's just they put the dummy here, so that way, like the reflections in front of. So the camera's here, reflections here, reflection, and it's really Arnold. They're digging in there, but it's really someone else over here using a fake dummy head. So it's a very clever film. Very clever. So that's practical, and it worked very well. Again, another movie where they did use that actually, because that movie's a groundbreaking work for CGI. And we'll basically leave this list for you guys to peruse. It's on crack.com. It's 8 movie special effects you won't believe aren't CGI. We're running out of time, so we'll just finish our discussion, but check that out. Yeah. Terminator 2 is actually huge because, like, T-1000, gigantic liquid man, special effects were amazing. And then you have the practical effects, like we just said. Arnold's skin, like when he rips off his hand and all that stuff. Really cool effects. Really well done movie, too.
Yes. CGI, I don't think... I think we kind of saw this weird thing happen where it seemed like CGI was starting to take over and be everything's effect.
Yes.
And then there was sort of a kickback. Mm-hmm. And you see directors like George Miller and J.J. Abrams and everything wanting to go back to practical effects, wanting to use them more often. But still keeping the CG. I think CG still has a place.
Yes.
It's very... If used judiciously and used in the right spots, you can use it any way you want. You can do anything with it. But if you turn to rely on it, I think then your film is going to suffer.
Yes, exactly. And like we said with Deep Blue Sea and Star Wars Episode 1, any of the prequels really. And then you have like people who, on the other end of the spectrum with the CGI, CGI is great with the motion capture stuff. Is amazing. Like Andy Serkis, I'm so pissed off that guy's not been nominated yet. Because that dude could play a fucking monkey like nobody's business, man.
That's 3 movies he's played a monkey in.
I know, he's fantastic, and especially like, War of Planet of the Apes. Just I can't wait to see what's going to happen there, man. I'm pumped for that movie. Andy Serkis deserves an award. Mark Ruffalo actually did his work for the Hulk, and Josh Brolin.
Yep.
Too. So that is kind of a mesh of practical and CGI, obviously with the heaviness on the CGI, but...
It also goes back, like, I think... We had a discussion a long time ago where people were like... I think Sam also had this point that, computers are going to take over and replace actors.
Right.
We saw them try to do that, and it didn't work.
Doesn't work.
Even now, it doesn't work.
No.
You have a CG ape that when they use a real person acting...
Yeah.
It's way better.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, like, the first, like, the second movie's great. The second Planet of the Apes, the Rise of the Planet of the Apes. But that first movie, man, like, yeah, sure, it's CGI, but that shows that you need an actor's presence for something like that, because you can see there's a presence there. Like, when he's, like, when he grabs the guy's stick or whatever, and he goes no.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
That you cannot watch that scene and not get a few goosebumps.
Yeah, really, especially like in the theater. The whole theater was quiet when I saw that. It's like, I think there might have been a couple of, but yeah, I was just like, wow. Like, and you know what's coming. You know they're gonna talk.
You know it.
Yeah, but holy shit! It's
they used the moments. They knew when to put it in, and Andy Serkis he's the king of motion capture. And I'm glad he's got his own company now that he's teaching other actors how to do this.
That's super cool.
Like, I can't remember the guy who played Koba. Tony Kebbell is a guy who's really getting into it.
Right.
He was also in Warcraft. He was the leader of the orc guys.
Right. Which I still haven't seen. I still want to see Warcraft. It looks amazingly pretty.
And he's also taught Lupita Nyong'o how to do it.
Right.
And I think when you start getting really good actors like Lupita Nyong'o and all like that, starting to do this, CGI really has a bright future,
Yes.
but you have to know when to use it and not to rely on it.
Exactly, and like we'll quickly end on this, like a movie that could use practical effects and make it difficult, but they used, I think it was mostly entirely all CGI, was the new Jungle Book movie.
Yes.
And again, like that's another movie where, like, because none of that was used during motion capture, was it? Like,
No, none of it was motion capture. It was all animators.
And you can still, like, hey, that movie, like, hits you, especially when she's like, you know, you'll always be my son kind of thing.
Yeah.
And, like, you can feel that too, and that's pure CGI. But I'm not saying you can never do that, but you definitely get that extra something when you have an actor doing that thing, right?
And it all started with Andy Serkis playing Gollum because they had to. They were going to animate him, just straight animation. And Peter Jackson saw the reality that he could, like, Andy Serkis was throwing his heart and soul into this role, and he's like, I can't not use Andy's performance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like this would just be a waste, you know what I mean? Like,
so they found ways to mimic and his performance, and thus motion capture was created.
Exactly.
For movies.
So I guess the answer to our question, what's better than practical or CGI, is just Andy Serkis, man.
Yeah. Use Andy Serkis.
In everything. Seriously though, like, I doubt he's watching this. I doubt anyone will ever watch this, but fuck, you're awesome, dude. Seriously. Super awesome. Well, I guess that's where we'll leave it at for this week. So, Andy Serkis, good job, man. And I enjoy it.
One of these eventually.
Yeah, please. Whether it's an honorary or not, you'll get one. But I would have preferred if you would have got one. You should get one for War. For all, like, kind of like what they did with Lord of the Rings. They didn't give any best pictures to, like, the first two, but they gave it to the last. Hopefully they do the same. I don't know if this will be the last, but probably. But hopefully he gets one, because he deserves one. So, until next time, I'm Big Mike.
I'm Justin Ferguson.
And grab your popcorn. Monkeys, we're going to the movies.